Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Saville Shootout. Saddle Community Sports Center in Edmonton. Playing from Japan, I think. Looking at our chat, a number of viewers joining us. We're from there as well. Looked it up for this game this morning. Kind of late night ahead of you. These two teams perhaps respecting that. We got started a little early this morning, so we're well underway here in the first half. A few minutes early. They got some practice session quickly. We're on to skip stones here. Played on our Tuesday night men's league. This is a considerably longer trip for these two teams than Japan. Two excellent teams. Both of them won their opening game yesterday. Earl here, but just to the inside of that rock, perhaps looking to cover. Get to the nose. To get the blank. Put a blank end on the board in the first. Not the full second end for it.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Women's play on tap here from the Saville Shootout on Saturday morning. Just 5 games on tap this morning. This draw this morning as well as the draw yesterday morning. The only 2 draws where only half the sheets are being used. All day in advance for all the names if I'm going to pronounce wrong, but I'll do my best. Draw to the button was won by Fujisawa team. This is Ikue Kitazawa. Lead, Mori Suzuki. Second is Emi Inami. Third, Dana 19. Skip. Center guard. Around and behind the freeze. Nice line, just a little bit light. Sawa now looking to play one over towards the corner, sit 2. This is the lead. Yoshida had an outstanding game, but I haven't recalled the goal yesterday. Yumi Suzuki is the second. Shinami Yoshida, third. And skip. Satsuki Fujisawa. Rushed in that first game. In progress. Two teams both won their opening game. So there it is. He's out to be the sole leader early in Pool B. 20 teams began play yesterday morning. 4 pools of 5. Everybody in their own pool. So all games important, but when there's only 2 teams on your opening game, there's a chance that you're going to first place all by yourself early. Chance to play the short angle run. This is close. Stick right in the guard. That was the 5th rock of the end, though, so she can make a play on the guard now. She'll look to play the double. Tried to hold the line. It curled up just enough that it ends up jamming it straight back. Kitazawa looking at the come around. Lots of room early. They've switched the sweeper to the outside, try to get some extra curl now. You do have to be careful with these. There's big late movement here at the Saville Center. She's by the guard by lots, but look at that curl. Another chance for the run back. This time looking for the run double if she could get it. Red onto yellow. Oh, just by the stone at the top of the button. And still leaves everything covered. Kitazawa's first thought was to leave some kind of a staggered guard just so she wouldn't have that chance to play the double run again. She's thinking about coming around again, though. Looks like they've settled on the come around. Seina Nakajima looking to bring one into the top 8, maybe bite the 4 round cover. Again, lots of room, so they're looking for some extra curl. No little curl coming into the house, but this one might be a little strong as well. Comes down, touches off the side of their own stone, and does sit mostly open. You could get at the stone that was just delivered, but you can't do anything with a shot stone going after that. So they're going to make another pass at the double raise. Wider target in the back to hit now. Just a bad break there. She hits it that far off the nose, and the other side she still connects with the yellow stone in the rings as it is, drives it by everything. Kitazawa continues to sit 2, just the 1 guard now. Gestured as though she was looking to come right in on top of the yellows, or possible she was just saying, this is the line that we need to guard. Tighter by the guard coming by. And she will bury it in the top of the 8-foot. It serves a dual purpose there. It's actually a second guard as well as third shot, and that's a lot of separation on this run back. You give them enough chances at it, eventually they were going to make contact with something. They moved a few things around. Only kills the 1 stone, but it actually moved the 2 yellows in the 4-foot back a little bit. Now, if you guard shot rock, there's a double off the 1, the edge of the 4-foot. All 4 players for the Kitazawa team taking a look now at where might be the best place to put this rock. And you have to keep in mind that that red stone you can see at the about 1030 position is biting the 12-foot. So if you leave them a double, it's a chance to sit 2. Rushes her down right away, but really just cleaning at this point. this to stop. Might have stopped just in time. It definitely covers the 2 yellows in the forefoot. Takes away the potential for the double between the 2 of them. They can play a double, the stone that was just delivered, and take out either one of the 2 in the back. You saw there the gesture. She could run it right into the pocket and get the 2 of the forefoot that way. The problem then is your shooter will be guarding the one you run back. And I think that rock stopped just in time so that if she makes the double yellow that's just biting the rings over the top of the one in the button, I don't think her shooter will roll in. She's not getting it over the top. She'll actually jam it. They did try to roll it in. It stays out of the rings. First thought from the Kitazawa team was just to guard the port, but they're talking about coming in now. I kind of like that. You've almost forced her, if you just throw the straight guard, to play the run back double. The problem with that is if she makes it, it's for 2. If you're anywhere in the rings here, she won't have a shot for 2. And you can do the same thing. I mean, you get a rock splitting the center line full 12 foot, it still guards the port. Even to full 8, which is where they're tapping. My only concern about full 8 is you've seen already this morning, and we saw it all day yesterday, how much late movement there is. The deeper you come, the better the chance that it's going to overcurl that stone in the forefoot. There is a gap. She can get to that stone right now and hit it on the nose, and I think she would have shot rock. So you have to take away her direct path at shot stone. Sure, that's what they've settled on. The discussion now is all about how much ice do we need. We've had a few rocks down here that seem to hold for a long time, but they'll curl late. That does not look like a ton of ice compared to what we saw yesterday. She wants to keep a piece of the center line when this stone comes to rest. Final stone for Kitazawa here in the second end, looking to set up a potential steal. They're sweeping for a little extra curl there, just to get by the one that's out in front of the rings, and that was my fear. If you got by or you got too deep, it was going to over curl. She does sit 3 all in the forefoot. There's no triple, but it does look like she can get directly at shot rock, although it is a tight port. Boy, that looks like a lot of ice to me, and the only reason that's a concern is that the more ice you're taking, the quieter you're throwing. Well, by the time she's by the stone that's out of the rings, and with quieter weight, if she curls, she could touch the stone that was just delivered, and her shooter would spin out of the forefoot even if she made the hit after that. They jumped the sweep early. She's actually playing it as a run back. Makes the hit. Does touch the shot stone, but a little thin, spins across, and it's going to be a steal of 2. Kitazawa, a solid end here in the second. They pick up the steal of 2 and will take the lead into the third. Fujisawa will continue to have last rock.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to
everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Ten sheets here at the Saville Center, just 5 in play this morning. But all 10 will be in play for the rest of the day, and I believe all 10 tomorrow, all day as well. Using a split draw for the most part, so if you tune into a draw time and your team hasn't started yet, it's possible that they're on the split start. They'll start a little bit later. Works great for the fans. I love it myself. There's always a game going on. There's no period in time where it's just the ice crew out there trying desperately to get 10 sheets ready at the same time for the next draw. Center guard to start this third end. Now the corner thrown up. Looks like Kitazawa looking for a second center guard. Looking for the really long one, and actually it spun a little bit at the end and came back towards the hack, ends up on the hog line. It is therefore removed from play. So a chance now for Fujisawa to try to use that corner guard they threw up with the last one. I mentioned earlier that I had called their game yesterday that they played against Jolene Campbell. Yurika Yoshida had an outstanding game in that opening draw. I shouldn't have said anything. I jinxed her. Looking for the come around here, but comes up short. Does work for a second corner guard, and they're a little staggered now, so she gets a chance to use them. There won't be a run back available. Amy Anami looking to come around the center guard now. They jump to sweep right away. Did a good job holding the line early. Now as it comes into the rings, big movement, but got to be careful this doesn't poke out the other side. probably stopped just in time. You can see a sliver of it from the other turn. That was the 5th rock of the end, so Yumi Suzuki can play the run back now. Well, after having some tough luck on those run backs last in for really the entire Fujisawa team, they finally make one exactly the way they wanted it. Run the guard back, clip the shot stone off, and the shooter rolls off the center line. So a couple of corner guards to work with. Kitazawa will ask Kitami to come around the stone that was just delivered. It's still protecting a piece of the 4-foot. Not as big a movement as it crosses the center line. So she puts that in the top of the 8-foot, but it stays fully open. Chance to hit and roll away from the center line now. They could possibly get in behind their 2 corner guards on the other side that are staggered. Swooping to try to hold the line. Now it's gone to plan B. They knew they weren't going to roll away, so they were trying to roll under and ends up on the nose. Probably a little bit of space between the object stone and the guards, so they're going to try to roll under that guard that's still protecting a bit of the 4-foot. This is close for line. It's that last little bit of finish, makes the hit, that quiet wait, and rolls a piece under cover. Looks to be about 3/4 available. So there's room to make the hit and try to roll across to the other side. A little bit more weight on this attempt, not curling quite as much. She'll make the hit, but the shooter rolls all the way across and out of play. Another opportunity for the Kitazawa team to make the come around now. Sena Nakajima, the 3rd. See how much they learned from the earlier attempt as they crossed the line. They just didn't get as much movement as they get coming into the center line. So they do look like they've tightened the broom a little bit, but they had to jump the sweep right out of her hand. Trying to carry it for weight right now. You sweep it early, you take a little bit of the curl out of it. They do manage to get it to bite the top of the 12-foot. But it is open, and another chance for the Fujisawa team to make the hit and roll to the corner. And if she can roll all the way to behind those corner guards, should be in the rings. Going to make the hit now. Where will the roll end up? Just a little on the thin side. It will roll across. She get a little bit of a spin back. Looks like it might be on the rings. Hard to tell. The overhead, you can see a little bit of white, but the overhead is in top of the pinhole. You need to look over top of the rock. I don't think they'd be playing it if they didn't think it was in. So even by rolling past the guard there, that does accomplish a little bit for Fujisawa. You've made Kitazawa make a play on the stone out in the wings. You know you're going to have a chance to switch from defense to offense on your next shot. For Kitazawa, if she can roll behind the two corner guards, at least she knows she takes away the blank opportunity. She'll make the hit, roll into the rings. It is still partially exposed, but Fujisawa's got two guards to work with and a chance to set up her deuce. She's going to play the draw. Coming around the stone that's still covering the forefoot. She had a chance to see her opposition attempt this shot a couple of times, so maybe learn something about the ice here. She's got a little more ice than Kitazawa had on the last time they attempted it. They were a little light and they had to carry the brush all the way down. Stone curling nicely as it crosses center. Now, can they get it deep enough to bury it? Now, it just needed to slide maybe 2 feet more, would have been fully buried. As it is, she can see probably 3/4 of it. That yellow stone in the edge of the 12-foot is still probably 3/4 open as well, so she wants to hold her shooter here to get the force. Doesn't have to stay in the middle, just to stay anywhere in the rings. Will force Fujisawa to try to take a single point with her hammer. Little back and forth as to which sweeper needs to go for line. She's by the guard. They'll hit, stay pretty much right there. Quick overhead look, and they think, and I agree with them, I think they can hit this right on the nose and they will be shot rock. So Fujisawa, with her final stone here in the third end, has had this last rock since the opening end, a chance to pick up her single now. Does hit it right on the nose. That's good enough for the single point. Satsuki Fujisawa is on the board, but Ikue Kitazawa with a 2-1 lead, and she'll have last rock for the first time when we come back for the fourth.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Saturday morning here from Edmonton, draw 5, women's play. I had a chance to see Fujisawa yesterday. This is my first look at Kitazawa, and my early impression of this team is that they like to play aggressively. They threw guards in the first end. A lot of times you'll see teams come in early, but even after stealing the 2 in the second, they threw 2 centers in the third. They put on big pressure so far, and it's benefiting them. They've stolen a deuce and gotten the force. This is their first opportunity with the hammer. Two guards up to start this fourth end. Looking for the come around. The guard fairly tight. This is another one of those ones where they've got to hope it stops now before it comes out into the open. You can see a sliver of that rock probably from the hacks. The problem with it is the no-tick zone rule is in play here, so if you try coming tight by the guard and happen to touch it on the way by, lose your shooter and get nothing out of the shot, so they elect to come around the corner guard. And this is one of those situations where that no-tick zone has changed the strategy a little bit. In years past, when the no-tick zone rule wasn't in play, you might have made a quiet pass at that stone in the rings, and if you chip the guard, oh well, you get the guard out of the way. That's not the worst result. But Now, under the new rules, you would lose your shooter. The guard would go back. That just makes it a little too risky to play it. And so we get a few more rocks in play. That stone brought into the top of the 12-foot is probably half to 2/3 buried. Going to make a play at it. It's still just the 5th rock at the end. They have to be careful if they chip the guard. Boy, that's great line coming by. She couldn't even see half of that rock. Hits it thick enough to hit and roll over into that center line area. Sits 2. And now time for the Kitazawa team to try playing a few runbacks, perhaps. Curls a little bit past the nose. We'll drive it by everything in the rings. Rolls the shooter over to a corner guard. Fujisawa will ask Yumi Suzuki to replace that center guard. Just be working with 1 guard on top of 2 stones in the rings. For the rest of the end, they can play these guards a little bit longer now. They know the run back attempts are going to be made, so you can have a little more separation now. When you're playing these guards earlier in the end, you want to leave room for 2 guards. She's not going to have the chance for the second guard now. Boy, that's amazing to watch how much those rocks curl from it. They start about maybe 10 feet outside the hog line. And it is just big movement. You saw on that one, they were actually worried it wasn't going to curl enough. They had the outside sweeper sweeping for extra curl and almost over curled it. Another attempt at the run back, playing the other turn this time. This is close. Gets 1, gets 2, and catches the 3rd stone, enough to make it fly. All 3 reds leave. The only 3 stones now in play, the 3 yellow guards. On to Kitazawa, but it does still protect the button area, so something to come around at least for Fujisawa. This is the 3rd, Shinami Yoshida. Getting tight to the guard. Let's look like they'll be by. Now it's a question of how deep can they bring it. It's certainly going to overcurl the center line guard, so it's going to be well buried with 3 guards out there. Gets it into full 8 foot, not quite biting the 4. Not sure from the gesture there whether that's plan A or plan B. The gesture looks like they were talking about straight peel, but that might be a plan B. You try the run back, and if you over curl, you'll make the peel and roll away, and that's what they're going to get, I think. Oh no, she's held that line pretty well. Does just clip the shot stone. Her shooter stays Probably even a little close. Well, the other side of center about the same amount. It'll change the draw path. Nice line by the guard. This comes a little deep, though. It's behind the tee line, and it is poked out into the open on the other side. Possibly enough room. Looks like she can see just over half of it. Might be able to make the hit and roll behind the corner guards. Good job by the brush to hold the port. She's going to make the hit, but looks like it might not have enough to roll behind cover. It stays in the port. It is open. Looks like Fujisawa's first thought is to play the in-turn through the port. It looks like she's got more room on the out-turn. Well, Fujisawa got to the hack, took a look at it. She still likes the way it looks from the in-turn, so going to play through the port with the in-turn, looking for the hit, and I guess wants to roll behind the center guard. Needs to curl to get off the corner. And that was the problem with the in-turn. There wasn't a lot of room to be anything on the wide side, and of course with the movement being so late, you were going to have to sit on that guard for a long time. Not able to get off it at the end, just rubs it. Chance for Kitazawa to perhaps set up a deuce here. Question is, where do you put this stone? If you come around the center guard, she's going to have a play on the open stone at the back of the button. She's looking at just playing a straight come around on the center guard. like where they talked about putting it. It looks visually like it's hard to get there from this turn, but we've seen how much light movement there is. If you come tight by the guard, it will over curl that guard a little bit. You can do that, essentially that Christmas tree effect that we talk about so often, where you get half behind the guard and then use the edge of your stone to also protect the stone in the rings. That would keep Fujisawa from being able to roll behind the center guard. With the corner guards on the other side, it would be tough to get a draw into the ring, still splitting the center line. Kitazawa leading 2-1 here as we play in the fourth end. Her first stone, trying to set up the deuce. Got room by the guard. Starting to curl now, but sweepers haven't touched it. This might be a little deep. Doesn't want to leave a double or perhaps a pocket. Got the line she wanted, but just too deep. There is a chance here, and didn't see a lot of discussion about how they wanted to hit this, although they could have just said it without pointing. It's hard to know. If she hits this, the stone that was just delivered ever so slightly before the other stone, she'll spin across the top of that stone. She can make the double, and her shooter might spill in behind the corner, which would get her the force. As long as she makes the double, she knows it's no worse than a blank. She's got the bigger weight on this one. I think she's trying to spin up in behind. Boy, they got to get by the center guard. Not going to. A little fortunate in that they still caught one of the rocks in the forefoot. I don't think she was expecting, and I agree with her, I don't think she was expecting that much curl with the amount of weight she just threw. Normally you pick up the weight like that, it runs pretty straight. So a chance to pick up her 2 points here in the fourth end. Kitazawa made this draw on her first stone. The guard moved over just a little bit, but she had plenty of room on the first one. Needs any piece of the rings here, and she can pick up 2 points, and we'll take a 3-point lead into the break. Room by the guards. Brusher just cleaning it. Now that big movement as it comes into the rings. Ikue Kitazawa with her final stone comes down to just maybe nibble the button. Picks up her 2 points. She'll take a 4-1 lead going into the fourth end break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
4 ends in the books here from Edmonton. Kitazawa with a big deuce in the fourth has a 4-1 lead. The teams do get the option at these events to have the break after the fourth end. We saw a few of the teams yesterday didn't take it, but of course with the Japanese teams traveling so far, they brought the coaches with them. This is a good opportunity to have a little chat about how things have gone so far and what adjustments they might want to make for the second half. Big game for these two teams. May well decide who wins the pool. Quickly as we've got an opportunity here, I'll run through the scores in the other games. Just got to look them up myself. So Kate Cameron with a 6-1 lead after 3 ends against Christine McMacken. That game in the fourth end. What score in the fourth end? Not sure if they've completed it yet. Robin Silvernagel with a 3-2 lead over Jessica McCartney as they play in the fourth. McCartney's got last rock. Momoha Tabata trailing Yunji Kim 3-1 as they play in the fourth. Tabata has last rock there. And Kaylee McNamee 3-1 lead right now over Jolene Campbell as they play in the fourth. Just the 5 games on tap this morning. Women. And underway now in the fifth end. Didn't have a chance to see the call, but it looks like Kitazawa has called for this first stone right into the rings with a 3-point lead. And Fujisawa will ask for the corner guard. There's a good look at all the action here this morning. The Saville Center in Edmonton. This will be the last draw during the round robin portion where they're not using all the sheets. Had a half draw yesterday morning when we started play, the half draw today, and then it's 10 sheets in play for every other draw. And with the staggered starts, always action going on here. Looking here to protect the stone they threw on the first one. It was a good draw on the first one. They'd like to straight guard it now. Rushers working it to try to get it back to that center line. Good job by the Brushers. They end up with that dead lined up. Eureka Yoshida being asked to come around from that wide intern side, try to freeze to the face of shot rock, maybe on a slight angle, if they could. Not sure what the question is from the other end, maybe whether or not they wanted to try to tap it. About halfway down, they switch to the offside sweeper to try to get extra curl. Nice line coming by. She'll tap it just a little, stay on the corner. It's a really nice shot by Yuriko Yoshida. It's actually given her two ways to get at the yellow. She's got the short angle raise on the red and tap it far enough that with the big late curl on this ice, I think she could get at it now directly on the outturn side. Miyanami trying to come down, sit on top of the red, and she'd like to get to the face or maybe even slightly past it so that she doesn't line up the yellow-red onto the shot stone. Good line. She would have liked to have gotten right to the face, but does protect the short run back. Fujisawa looking for some input from the other end. It looks like she's got the choice of just playing the straight freeze again, this time from the other turn, or do they want to try to move it and rolling behind the corner? It looks like they've got plenty of room to make a play to move it and roll behind the corner, and you'd like to get the play away from the center line if you could. Thinking about just moving it back. If you're doing that, you're not rolling behind the corner, so trying to keep the shooter probably right there and leave this stone at the back somewhere where any attempt to remove the one you're about to deliver could jam. This is getting tight to that guard already, and it's not just the guard. Even if it gets by the guard, it has to get by the ones in the house. Not going to get by the guard. And a big spin back at the end. At least it hangs on for a bite at the back of the 12-foot. Everybody watching it, including me, as it's going back there. It's a big difference whether that rock goes through or not. Is a potential counter later on in the end. For now, the downside, the major downside to that rock is they really didn't uncover anything in the middle. Chance for Kitazawa to throw a second guard, completely protect shot rock. And Fujisawa is going to have to play a little bit of defense, move some granite around, maybe open up the front. There is a yellow-red-yellow combination where she could kill both yellows and maybe keep the red in the rings later on, but she's going to have to deal with the front first. This card might overcurl. Looks like they're trying to sweep for a bit of a bump off, and they got that. Probably needed it. If they don't rub off that stone, they probably leave the same attempt. Double peel is available now. You hit anywhere on the broom side, one yellow onto the other, will kill both guards and roll away. Now there is the potential that first stone will come back towards that biter at the back of the 12-foot. It's going to be towards it, just by it. So it continues to be yellow, counting one. Kitazawa, she's got the third shot as well. but she can't guard everything with one stone here. Pretty much have to try to throw a guard that's dead lined up to the shot stone. That should take away the yellow, red, yellow combination as well. Needs to split center line with this guard when it's done. They're really worried about that stone in the forefoot. They almost over-curled that. Certainly you could play the yellow, red, yellow now. You'd hit shot rock. I don't know if you can get far enough to the inside of the yellow to dead jam the red on shot rock. That guard wouldn't have had to move much further and it would have been available. Just looking at the way they were gesturing, it looked like Shinami Yoshida's first thought was that they could go after the yellow, red, yellow combination. And Fujisawa feeling that the red or the yellow run back might be the way to go on this shot. Get the guard off the center line that way as well. You're going to play the yellow onto the red onto the yellow. You need to get across the face of that yellow. So if they're talking about that, part of the discussion will have to be just how much weight can we afford to throw at it. Three players were talking about that shot, the skipper, the whole time. Her first thought was to play the guard back, and that's what they're going to go with. There's actually a chance she could get the shot with the run back. If you run the guard back to hit the stone in the 12-foot on the center line side, you might get all three yellows moving. Just straight peels the guard. Nakajima will look to replace the guard now. This one looks to have more line. They're sweeping for some curl. It's got a split center. Coming now. It's going to get tighter to the rings. Certainly don't think there's a way to play the yellow, red, yellow directly now. That one's a little tighter to the rings and covers a bit more of the corner. That run back's still a possibility. Couple of ways this can work out good for her. You saw her gesture. She was making sure everybody's aware of the options. A little bit on the high side. You could go yellow, yellow, red, yellow. Or if it curls up just like this, she might be able to clip the shot stone. And does. By doing that, her shooter actually rolls over and covers the two yellow-red combination in the middle. So shot rock now belonging to Fujisawa under cover. And I don't think Kitazawa can see enough of the Yellowstone to play the short run back. So looking at playing the wide in-turn come around. If that corner guard wasn't there on the other side, she'd probably look at the out turn. She's got more room to come around on the out turn side. The problem with that is, and we've seen it here through the opening day and a bit, there's such big late movement. They've run out there for a long time and then everything moves big. Well, by the time you're by the corner guard on the out turn, you might get by the center guard, but I'm not sure that you'd get by the two in the rings. So she's got to go wide on the in-turn and try to come around a stone in the 8 foot. Probably has to be about back 4 to get buried, which is fine. At this point in time, she's just trying to get the force. Shrink the rings, put this somewhere where she can't make a play on it. They want it to wait on the line, but this is going to get tight to those two rocks in the rings. Ends up rubbing off the red stone. The shot stone pushes it a little farther in behind. Does come to rest the yellow now shot rock. And the decision for Fujisawa, she could hit and roll to the open side. Sit 2, you'd force Kitazawa to hit the open stone. She's not going to give you a chance for 3 if she doesn't have to. And then you know you're going to have a chance at 2. If you want 3 here, you've got to roll behind the center. The problem then is you're behind the T line. If she makes the freeze, your whole end is gone. About the big roll across as well. That's a possibility. It's a very tough shot. If you're going to try to roll across the center guards in towards that corner, you have to make sure you roll far enough, because if you just roll into the opening, that leaves her room to hit and roll behind cover and be shot rock still. You don't want to just roll into the back of the 4 foot wide open here. It's either roll behind the guard or roll way over to the edge of the 8 foot. Quiet wait, but the line got tight early, so they've been on the brush. Both brushers on it now. She's going to make the hit. And roll to probably exactly where she doesn't want to be. That was the problem with the call, and not so much the call, but I think they were looking at 2 shots, whether they roll behind center or roll big, and you end up getting caught in between. You knew that with a 3-point lead, anything that was left open, Kitazawa was going to make a play on it, make sure that she's not going to give up any more than 2. But by rolling where you did, you've given her the opportunity to roll back under cover. She'd be shot rock. You might have a hard time scoring more than one. On the brush early and all the way down. She's going to make the hit, but not thick enough to hold the shooter. So Fujisawa will get a chance to play the draw for 2. Needs just about a bite of the 8-foot. She will have to go wide enough to make sure she can get by those 2 stones at the top of the house. Sweepers will have to be aware of that. This is probably a wider path than they've thrown. Might change things just a little bit. Satsuki Fujisawa, final stone here, the 5th end, trailing by 3, a chance to get 2 of those points back right here. Sitting shot rock right now, needs to just about bite the 8-foot. Brushers picked it up early. Got a nice line by those stones at the top of the house. She will bring that right into the corner of the button. Fujisawa with last rock here in the 5th picks up 2 points. Kitazawa with a 4-3 lead. She will have last rock in the 6th.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, yeah.
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Sean Joyce with you here live. Curling Stadium, Edmonton from the Saville Center. Women's action draw 5 Saturday morning. Pool D, the 2 teams that are undefeated in the pool having won their opening game. Winner of this game will move atop the pool. Right now, Kitazawa with the 4-3 lead as we begin play here in the 6th. She's also got last rock. Center guard to start the end. The corner guard thrown by Kitazawa. And now Fujisawa lead Eureka Yoshida. And I think the gesture was they're going to throw the second center guard. So playing a little bit aggressively here. Trailing by 1 in the 6th. Can understand that. Rushing hard at the end for not just getting it over the hog line. They want to make sure they touch that center line so that it's in the no-tick zone. Good job by the brushers there. That guard is so high it doesn't even show up in the overhead shot. Couldn't get any more separation than that on the two guards. Nothing that Kitazawa can do about the guards at this point in time, so she's going to look to come around them. Bring that stone into the full 4-foot corner of the button, but didn't get fully under cover. Yumi Suzuki now will look to come down to it. Might be able to get to the inside corner frozen on it, and be dead buried. Definitely has tighter line coming by the guards. Boy, almost didn't get by the second one. Now they have to stop sweeping just so it doesn't come too far out into the open. Stops full 8 foot, still dead buried. That was the 5th rock of the end, so Kitazawa, if she so chooses, could start making plays on the guards now. That was her first indication. A lot of separation between those two. You could really only play the single peel, and if you've just peeled the long one, situation in the house still isn't great, so she's looking at what can we play as a draw. Still be pretty tempting, I think, to peel the center guard. It's got a 1-point lead here in the 6th end. The last thing you want to do is leave an opportunity for the steal, even if you get forced to 1 here. You're 2 up playing 7. Going to stick with the draw. It is an aggressive call, but they've been very good at these shots in this game. If you can get the corner freeze, you're actually in great shape. You could possibly pick up a deuce here. Certainly you could force your opposition into a much more difficult shot. Brushers just cleaning, staying close. Usually tells you they like the weight and they're waiting on the line. Nice line coming by. Well, they said they wanted to play the corner freeze on the red. They make the corner freeze on the red, maybe overcurled a little from what they had intended, but the yellow-red combination would pass by shot rock. That's the most important thing. Leaves room for Fujisawa to try to come down, sit on the corner of shot rock. This rock's out there a bit. Might be a little strong as well. Sweeping for curl. She'll get to a piece of that shot rock, just enough though to push it further in behind cover, and her shooter will roll to the back 8 foot. Now an even better opportunity to perhaps make a play on one of the guards, because Fujisawa still can't make a direct play onto shot rock. Now she's wondering about the double peel. She did line it all up. I think you want to, the only thing you need to be careful about, I don't know if you want to risk hitting this into the 2 stones at the top of the 8 foot, because depending on how you hit it, you could drag it into shot rock. She made very sure that they were going to hit it on the side where if they get the drag, it was going to go away from shot rock. Drives it by the 2nd stones. It's just a single peel, straight peel. Fujisawa, another opportunity to try to corner free shot stone. It's a much more difficult shot now because, as you can see, the thrower can't see that shot stone at all. Still, from what we've seen of this ice, you know, it'll get there. They move so hard at the end. If you come tight by the 2 at the top of the 8 foot, you can probably get to half of that stone in the 4 foot with draw weight. This line looks tighter early. They have to make sure they get by the 2 at the top of the 8 foot. Maybe just a little light as well. It comes to rest lining up the red, yellow, red, but I think that will clear the yellow at the back. Kitazawa looking at making a play on it. The yellow one's not going anywhere if you can hit it. With what you can see, I don't think the top red one's going anywhere either, but it would give you 1st and 3rd behind cover. Very thin on the first one. Still, it looks like it's going to be enough to drive that red all the way through the back. Leaves the 2 at the top of the 12 foot staggered, so no direct path at shot stone. Fujisawa has to be very careful now. The 2nd shot stone at the back of the 8 foot is wide open. You'd like to get the steal here and maybe take a force, but in a little bit of danger now that could give up a big end, and this late in the game, that might be it. They're going to call timeout, have the coach come out, take a look at it as well. One of them is tapping that Yellowstone at the top of the 8 foot. I don't know that you can get at it with a lot of weight. and there's some danger. You make a play on it. If you're ever thin on it, you put it on to second shot at the back of the 8-foot. Still have that same out turn come around to try to corner freeze shot rock, but I mean, it's a difficult shot. And it's kind of all or nothing now. That is Shinami Yoshida indicating, I think she thinks they can see enough of the yellow at the top of the 12-foot to drive it over the top of the shot stone, catch it, and double the yellows. It's hard to say. She can see about 2/3, and there's about 4 to 5 feet between those two rocks. 4 feet, let's call it. That might be enough to catch the stone on the button. But boy, if you ever miss the stone on the button, there's a potential jam on that second shot stone at the back of the 8-foot. So they're going to try to run back onto that stone, run the guard back onto the yellow stone at the top of the 8-foot, try to double the yellows. Still some danger of the jam, but I guess if you jam with this one, at least you've opened up the front. You might have a shot to get out of trouble with your last one, or your next one. You've got 2 left. Does clip it, does jam it on the back one. Thin enough, though, it will spill out of play. So Kitazawa sits shot, second shot, the red stone at the top of the 12, the one they're going to go after now. And no center guards left, but a couple of corners. Seina Nakajima looking to play the hit and roll to the corner on the left-hand side as we look at the skip. The broom side. Could get in behind the corner. Shot rock would be open, but no guards on the center. Could be a chance to set up a deuce here. Boy, this is really curling. She's going to hit it, but is she going to get it by the shot rock? Boy, that was not a lot of weight. Gets it through the back of the rings, but it does stay in play. Have to think that was probably a little bit less weight than what they had in mind. You're trying to get a 4-foot roll. Tough to do that with just barely hack weight. Had she hit what she needed to get the roll, she probably doesn't hit it thick enough to get it through the rings. Leaves a chance for the double. Looks like they're trying to play it straight back. If she goes just over the top, there's probably a chance she can roll in, and that's what she's going to get, and does roll just to bite the 12-foot. Kitazawa is going to ignore that biter and come around the corner guard. This is kind of a scoreboard shot. You know you're going to have a shot to score 1 here. If you can bury this, you might be able to score 2, but it's the 6th end of an 8-end game. You've got a 1-point lead. If you happen to get stuck with one here, well, perhaps the issue was they didn't realize that was in. She's still going to play it. She's still going to play the draw. I like this call. You know, if you happen to get stuck with one in the sixth end, you're still 2 up, playing 7. If you give up your deuce, you're going to have last rock coming home. If you bury this, you could still have a chance to score 2 here. No matter what happens with these next 2 shots, you know you're going to have an open middle to try to score your single. The Brushers were away from it early, but this takes a big jump off the center line. It's by. Now, where's it going to stop? I don't think they wanted to touch it early because of the weight. It actually comes out maybe a third open on the wide side. That's a really good shot. If Fujisawa wants to make a play on it, she's going to have to lose the shooter, I would think. Well, with that amount of ice, I'm thinking she's going to throw this quiet and try to hang on to the edge of the 12-foot. Certainly it's there. The danger with a shot like this when you're playing quiet is if this starts to curl on you and you catch the guard, you could push it into the rings. Jump the sweep a little early just to hold it out there. They trust that it's going to curl at the end. Can have a piece of it. Now the question is, can she get enough curl at the end? Boy, look at that move. Does get enough curl at the end to hold the shooter. Really nice shot by Satsuki Fujisawa. So she sits 2. And Ikue Kitazawa with last rock here in the 6 will have to try to draw. Needs to just about bite the 8-foot to pick up her single point. Few final discussions with the front end about the weight. Kitazawa with her final stone. Needing to bite the 8-foot. The Brushers jumped this right out of her hand, and now Kitazawa going to join them. She might be a little light on this one. They're going to have a big drag through the middle. Well, they back away a little bit outside the hog line. They might have been worried that it was going to slow down in the middle, but the weight has held up nicely. Pulls that into the 4-foot area. Does pick up her single point. Kitazawa will take a 2-point lead into the 7th end. It'll be Fujisawa with last rock when we come back.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind. From pre-seed to post-harvest, you can count on the Victory Canola program to
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. But it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Sean Joyce with you here live from the Saville Center in Edmonton. A few anxious moments for Fujisawa with her final stone. Part of their discussion before she threw it was that, Kitazawa. Part of the discussion might have been that they weren't sure how well it would slide down the middle. I don't know whether they have experienced the ice flattening out in their earlier game. I certainly haven't seen that in any of the games that I've been broadcasting, and that one slid nice at the end, even as it crossed center line. So I don't think that's a worry yet, but she certainly seemed to worry about it, even jumped up to help sweep on her own. So Fujisawa with last rock here as we begin play in the 7th, looking to at least pick up a deuce, perhaps tie things up going home. With the center guard thrown up to start the end, the corner guard, and now Minori Suzuki looking to come around her center. Get half around, top of the forefoot. Yoshida being asked to come down and sit on top of it now. Probably room if she has the weight, they can tap it back, maybe behind the tee line. But more important to get the line here. Lots of time to move that rock later. Boy, this is getting dangerously close to the guard. And that is a no-tick zone guard. She moves it off the center line, so the guard goes back, and the shooter removed from play. The no-tick zone has been in play for a few years now, but I will say I've seen more violations here this weekend than probably in all the games that I've called in the last few years, and a big part of it is this big late movement here at the Saville Center. If you're not well by the guard at the hog line, you're not getting by it. This one's got a lot more room, but again, you'll see that big movement coming into the house. That rock, when it crossed the hog line, was still at the edge of the forefoot, and it's biting center line at top 12. That was the 5th rock of the end, so they can make a play on the guard now. Looking to run it back. Might be able to get all 3 yellows moving here. Important to keep her red in place somewhere. Hits 1, hits 2. She'll move all 3 of them. Only going to kill the back one. Does get the shot rock off the center line. Second shot is open now too. Anami looking to come around. Top of the 4 foot. Behind cover. Brings it right in the top 4 foot area. That is shot rock. Fujisawa looking at the run back again. For Kitazawa, as long as you can keep them playing defensive shots, then they don't have a chance to really play any offense. You know that Fujisawa would like to be trying to score 2 here, so it is one of the considerations. You saw her just gesture there. If they can run that red back across the face of the yellow at the top of the 12 foot, might be able to keep the run back stone in behind that corner somewhere. Going to over curl, and boy, just a tickle touches both stones, doesn't really move either one of them very far, still buried. Now a chance to just double the, guard the double that's available on the right hand side. I'm not sure what Fujisawa was going to have left. It'll be interesting to see what she wants to play here. Well, this card needs to stop, though. This slides into the rings. It'll still give her a chance to play some kind of defensive shot. She'll tap up the what was third shot rock. It's second now. Gives them a chance to play the run back again. If you can hit it right on the nose, you double the 2 yellows in the 8 foot area, and you might be able to leave your stone covered. I don't know if you'd be shot, but that didn't matter. Needs to curl up just a little bit more. If you're going to hit it off the nose, you needed to hit it that much off the nose on the other side, at least put it onto that stone in the 12 foot. So she drives it between all the rocks in the rings and leaves her shooter in a spot where there's nothing available now on the out turn side. Nakajima will once again look to guard the double available on the 2 stones in the 8 foot. We're looking to get that a little bit tighter. It's underneath the red. This raise might not have been available. Still kind of an all or nothing shot for Shinami Yoshida. You got to move something yellow on this one. Playing the run back. Red trying to get the double yellow in the 8-foot. Needs to come up just a little bit more. And will once again drive it between the yellows in the house. Kitazawa continuing to sit 4. Discussing as much as anything, what are the options for Fujisawa? You've got to figure out what she's got available before you know what you need to guard. They are a little bit worried she could play the hit off the stone in the 8-foot, roll to the back 4 and get shot rock that way behind cover. She can see the 2 yellow stones in the 8-foot through that port on the outturn side, but I just don't know how she could hit either one of them and hold her shooter for shot rock, and that's part of the discussion here. They almost think they don't need to guard that because what has she got? They're going to call timeout themselves now and have their coach come out and take a look at it. I think probably part of the discussion has to be here that does she even have anything available on this outturn side that we need to worry about? And if she doesn't, well then what do we do on the in-turn side? You're certainly not going to throw a wide corner guard. Looks like one of the options they've discussed is to put a rock in the 8-foot, kind of beside their shot rock, but out in the open, so she does make the hit and roll. They can promote it with the next one. Seem to be looking at that outturn side a lot, and I don't know if they're talking about tapping a rock on their own. I don't think you want to do that. I don't think you want to change the angles that you've got on that side. If you try to tap the stone at the top of the 8-foot, you might actually leave her a path to get to the shot stone. There might be some concern that Fujisawa might be able to come in on the outturn with quiet weight, just move the top one and roll to the corner where she might be second shot, and that would give her a shot at shot rock on the one after that. It does look like they've decided they need to do something to protect that side. I don't know that she can get both of them in one shot. They may be worried that she can do it in 2. Well, it looks like they feel like they want to tap that up. They're trying to get a couple of things out of this, I think. Protect any kind of hit and roll over there that could be second shot, as well as get a yellow stone in a position. If she makes that hit and roll, they might have a stone they can use. Problem I see with this is a very difficult shot. There is some potential it can go wrong. You're 2 up and sitting 4. Do you really need to play a shot this difficult? If you try to tap this stone up and you tap it on the angle out into the open, you actually give her a shot that she doesn't have right now. Still on the corner guard. They've got a sweep for curl. Gets by. Gets the tap. And it will stop just in time. That's a really good shot. Tough shot, made it. She's actually got her both ways. If she was able to hit that rock at the edge of the 8-foot and roll to the back 4-foot, now she's got the double yellow raise on the outturn side, and I think she could get to enough of that what is now shot rock to tap it back on the in-turn. Fujisawa needs a good shot here just to make sure she's going to have a chance to score with her last one. Looking at making a play onto the stone that was just tapped up. Can't just freeze to it. If you freeze to it, you're still not going to have a chance to get shot rock on the last one. So she's got to move it at least behind the tee line. She doesn't want to roll into the open. This Kitazawa team has put pressure on Fujisawa all game long. Another good example of it right there. A very aggressive call and really couldn't have walked it down the ice any better. Looks like a lot of ice to try to move that Yellowstone at all, and I'm not sure that a freeze gets you anything. Could she be trying to come right around everything to the back of the 4-foot? Looks like that's what they're trying. Such big movement from the hog line in, it's just not going to get by. Chips off. Does sit for third right now. But Kitazawa can see all of it. Looking probably for the nose hit. If there's any way that you could roll just an inch or two to the broom side, I don't know if Fujisawa has a shot to score. If you hit on the nose. Her only shot to score is going to be to come off that one, the open stone at the edge of the 8-foot. But if you roll 2 or 3 inches to the outside, I don't know if she could get enough to the inside of that stone to make a roll. Even if you hit this right on the nose, it's going to be very tough. Now, this is going to curl past the nose. Probably has left her enough room to play the straight draw now. Same shot she just attempted. Big shot here for Satsuki Fujisawa just to stay alive in this game. She's facing 6. Already trailing by 2. Tough to put a draw in a position where she could just cut him down to 1 as well. This is probably either going to be a score of 1 for Fujisawa or a steal of at least 2. She should know the weight. She just threw a similar draw. They have to get by the stones at the top of the 8-foot, though. A little bit of early sweep to hold the line out there. It's wider. Line's coming nicely now, but the sweepers have backed away as this may be a little strong. It's going to slide through the 4-foot, through the 8-foot, and it's going to be a steal of 5, and that will be handshakes. Ikue Kitazawa takes what ends up as a 10-3 victory here over Satsuki Fujisawa. That moves her to 2-0 atop Pool D. Both of these teams will be on the ice later on today. Just the 5 games on tap this morning. We'll quickly recap what went through. Kitazawa with a strong game here. They had a lot of pressure on all game long. If they can continue to play like that, we expect to see them around on Monday. Jessica McCartney with 3 in the 5th and a steal of 2 in 6 has a 7-4 lead over Robin Silvernagel. Momoa Tabata trailing 4-2 against Yunji Gim. Tabata does have last rock there as they play in the 7th. Jolene Campbell with a 4-3 lead over Kaylee McNamee. They're in the 7th there. McNamee has last rock. And Kate Cameron, an early victory. It was a 9-1 final after 4 ends over Christine McMacken. That concludes my action here. There's still the other 3 games. If you want to join them on any of the Curling Zone streams, you can get them on the YouTube channel. We'll be back with the 11 o'clock draw, and we're back to staggered start. So you'll see 5 games start at 11, 5 at 12:30, and it goes that way all day tomorrow, and then championship Monday here from the Saville Center.